Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Greater Than Zero podcast. My name is Andrea Wallace. Today, we are going to be talking about a hot topic, GLP-1s. I have a lot to say about these, and it's not all negative and it's not all positive. I think there's a big connotation that, all fitness professionals are completely against Ozempic and GLP-1s and all of those things, and that's just not necessarily the case, not for me at least. That's what we're here to talk about. We're going to go through the facts. Before we get started talking about specifically the GLP-1s, we're just going to go over the basic facts that scientifically we're going to make sure that we're all understanding. So, number one, a caloric deficit is in fact required for weight loss. No single diet is magic. No single diet is the best one. No single diet is the one that is going to work. It is literally just the diet that works for you, and that diet is going to change based on your life. And that doesn't mean it's a Mediterranean or a keto or anything like that. It is literally just a diet is just the food that you eat. Protein helps protect your lean mass, so that's everything that's not your fat. And lifting helps protect muscle and the shape of the muscle. Movement, daily movement is going to support your health and your maintenance of your health. Your sleep affects your hunger and your intake, and your consistency is always going to matter more than your intensity. So, moving on. What the fuck is a GLP-1? It is a medication that's mimicking the natural gut hormone that we all have, which is a GLP-1. There are different brands of it, like Ozempic, Wegovy, all the ones, everything that you know, everything that you see, those are all just different versions of a GLP-1. The way that it works is it's regulating and goodness gracious, it is regulating and decreasing your appetite and your blood sugar. Essentially, it is releasing insulin into your body after you eat, and it reduces the glucagon, which then slows down your digestion, which then tells your body, oh, I'm full. Long story short, it turns off your digestion, so it tells your body not to eat. Number one, digestion is so important when it comes to hormone health and to just bodily health in the first place. It is one of the first things I tackle with my clients and the people that I work with, is that in order to get to our bodies into a point of losing fat, we are going to get our digestion together. So what a GLP-1 is not, it is not a cure for obesity. I'm reading off of a slideshow right now. I just did this for a group call, and the group call ended up being really quick and really short, and so I want to go into it a little bit deeper here. It's not a cure for obesity. It does not come in and regulate your hormones. There is no way something that is marketed is that they will say oh, we'll do a hormone panel so you can get your personal recommendation. It's all the same shit. It's all the same thing. It's just a marketing strategy. It is not an appetite suppressant, right? It physically is changing your body. It is changing your digestion. It is not fast weight loss. That is the biggest thing. It is not fast weight loss. It's not. And it is not successful on its own. And it also doesn't make it easy. I think something that's really thought is that if someone gets on GLP-1, that means they're taking the easy way out. They're not. Especially if it's something that's going to stick. A successful GLP-1 weight loss, I would say, is just as hard as a normal one. Because it takes... We'll get into it. Why the GLP-1s work. When your food is leaving your stomach a lot slower, right? You're going to be like, wait, I'm full. I don't want to eat more. Then, that is then regulating your blood sugar. Basically, long story short, you're less hungry and you're more full, right? You have less cravings. You are going to eat less. So that comes and proves the fact that a caloric deficit is what works. I do not care. We will get into the biggest thing that if you see someone saying that a caloric deficit does not work, they do not know what they're talking about. I hope to God that if someone tells you, anyone ever, they probably have good intentions is the thing. They probably do think that they're helping. But if you are not losing fat, it is because you are not in a calorie deficit. Therefore, being on a GLP-1 does not immediately put you in a calorie deficit. It does lower your calorie intake. Why that doesn't mean it's immediately a deficit is because if I am eating 800 calories for an extended period of time, my body is going to say, oh shit, I'm only getting this much food, so I can only have this much energy. So after time, my body is going to start slowing me down, right? It doesn't mean that your metabolism crashes. What it means is that you no longer have energy for the things you used to do, right? So if you no longer have energy to walk, you no longer have energy to cook, you no longer have energy to do X, Y, and Z, things that burn calories, because your body's trying to meet it where it's at. And so that's what that, when people are saying, oh, like my metabolism is broken, that's not what that means. It's literally just your body meeting you where you are, because over time it's going to try to adapt to keep you alive. I hope that makes sense. So when people say that it's fast weight loss, actually the successful trials are 68 to 72 weeks for 30 pounds. That is just about, if not longer, sometimes, than a normal fat loss. It is not just fat loss. A lot of times you can lose up to 60% of your total muscle mass, which is insanely unhealthy. And here's the thing, I am not fully against GLP-1s. Absolutely not. When it is someone who has drastic health issues, right? And there is literally, like, there are so many people who, yes, that is what we need to get them. 100%. I am talking about the people who have been convinced that their body's broken, right? And I am talking about the people who have been convinced by marketing that this is the only thing that's going to help them, and they finally found the cure. And they finally figured out how to get everybody ever to lose weight. Shocker, it's literally a calorie deficit. But I digress from there. It just decreases your appetite. No, it turns off your body's digestion signals, and so it creates further complications with hormones. So a lot of times when people say that it's balancing your hormones or it's healthy for your hormones, it's not. Let's say that you get off the shot, right? You are going to have digestion and hormone complications. So let's say you have further weight loss goals after that, whether you gain to the weight back or not, it is going to be that much harder because of the hormone and digestion complications that you now have from the GLP-1s. It does not balance your hormones. It affects your insulin and your glucagon, which is what slows down your digestion. It doesn't go in and help hormonal imbalances. It actually has really, really negative effects on thyroid issues and can go into like thyroid cancer. That's a different conversation. And it does not automatically put you in a calorie deficit, which is what is all over the place. But we've talked about that. So the thing I'm talking about specifically is that if you want to be successful on a GLP-1, it comes from literally doing all of the exact same things that you would do not being on it and trying to lose weight. And so we can go into the nitty-gritty of it, but it comes into like, if you want, the word success on a GLP-1 study is determined by the fat lost versus the muscle retained, right? It is being able to get a successful GLP-1 patient is someone who is able to get off the shot, not gaining 2/3 of the weight back within 1 year, as well as balancing your hormones and your behaviors afterwards. To be successful on GLP-1, this is what you need. You need real calorie data, stable body weight data, consistent protein, lifting, daily movement, fiber and hydration, digestion is monitored and controlled, decent sleep and recovery, real life consistency, maintenance plan. Also, most successful results come from people working with coaches or incrementalized support. That being said, the reason it is so, like, if I showed you two things of, okay, this is everything you need to be doing for 6 months, and then you can get on Ozempic, no one would be able to get on it. No one who's actually trying. Again, I'm going to emphasize this is not for people who are obese. This is not for people who have diabetes and genuine health issues. This is for the average population of everybody and their mother going and getting prescribed Ozempic or whatever the hell their prerogative is in that situation. If I have people that I have worked with that are on them and that are very, very successful on them, and I'm so grateful for it. Before we get on it, we do these things. And those are the exact same things we do when we're not, right? When we're trying to lose weight naturally, when we're trying to lose weight by getting our behavior and our habits and staying consistent. If those things are done for 6 months, then, okay, would you then get on Ozempic? If I gave you two different options and I said, okay, you can get Ozempic or you can do it naturally, right? The only difference people are picking Ozempic is because there is an idea of a shorter timeline, and two, because it is easier to trust an outward source than it is to trust yourself. And so then it comes back to being so much farther than just, okay, whether it works or not, right? It is easier. At the end of the day, successful fat loss on Ozempic or naturally is going to take the same amount of time. It's going to take the same amount of work. It is just as hard. If you are on Ozempic correctly, it is just as hard as losing weight naturally, successfully, for it to last. And if you don't agree with that, that's where we start talking about, okay, is it a successful fat loss? You know, like, has it been over 2 years since you got off the shot? Are you able to get off the shot? It's easier to trust an outward entity to give you results that might not work, that might come with a lot of health complications. A healthy person who would just need to do X, Y, and Z to get to the fat loss, right? For them, it is not worth fucking up their hormones and their digestion. Versus someone who is on the brink of really morbidly obese. For them, it is worth to fuck up your hormones and your digestion because it probably already is, right? Like, the give and take is already there. And so healthy people are coming in and disrupting their bodies for something that seems like it's going to be easier and quicker when it's literally not. It's not. The difference is that it is so much easier to trust something else than it is to trust ourselves, right? Because that leaves us to, okay, well, what if I don't follow through? And what if I don't do it right? And what if it's so much easier to say, oh, well, it was the Ozempic. The Ozempic just didn't work for me. It lasted. That's the thing that you're seeing is everyone is talking about, oh, like, yeah, I lost all my muscle because of the Ozempic. Or, yeah, I got off the shot, so I gained all the weight back, right? And so it's not necessarily that we're, like, trying to blame. It's not like an active negative thing that we're, like, with bad intentions. No, it's just, it's humanity. But it is so much easier to have something else to blame or something else to trust than ourselves. Maybe it's not the fact that your body's broken. Maybe it's that the second you get home, the only thing that you have to give you comfort is food. Maybe it's the fact that you tell yourself that you're going to be good and you finally sit down and food feels like it's the only part of the day that's yours. Maybe it's after so long of stress over stress over stress, it's the only out that you have. Maybe it's the fact that you keep saying you're going to go to the gym and you can't because you physically cannot get yourself into a building where you think about all the things that you have failed at. Maybe you're scared of letting yourself down again for the millionth time, right? And maybe it's just the fact that you don't trust yourself to follow through. And that's the thing, like, it can go so much, like, okay, we can take it to the point of, like, okay, well, it's not that deep. But it obviously is. Like, it obviously is. If we're sitting here and we're talking about, okay, I want to do all these things, and Ozempic is the quickest thing. If you ask anybody who has successfully lost weight on a GLP-1, their answer is that it is just as hard as it is naturally. Because you do it with the same things. That is where it comes in with the health risks and the health benefits. Everybody, almost anybody that I know, okay, and this is just an objective thing or subjective thing, this is just in my life. I'm not saying this is the end all be all. I don't know if I know a single person. I would say in the last 2 years, I have met, or I know of 25 people who have been on Ozempic at some point. And I'm trying to think. I don't know if I can think of one that has gotten off the shot and has kept the weight off. Everybody that I know that has at one point gotten on it these are people very close to me. These are people that I work with very personally. These are people that I know have gained all the way back. because it is being used as a quick fix. The people I know who are successful with it are the people who understand that it is going to be just as hard because you have to do the exact same things that you would do without it to make it last, to make it successful. And it's just so interesting of we're being told, we're being promised, right? It's because it's a promise. We are being promised that if we take this shot every week, in 6 months, we will lose this weight. Okay, yeah, you'll lose the weight. That's the thing. The way that they get us in is they use the numbers. They use the numbers to draw us in. And so they say, okay, this person, it is the average person on here loses 30 pounds in 6 months, right? That is not talking about anything after that. That is not talking about anything that happens within that. It is not also, let's say it's talking about people that actually kept it off. They're not sitting there and telling you all the other shit that they had to do, right? They're not sitting there and telling you that they're also tracking their food. And they're not sitting there and telling you that they also started lifting. And they're not sitting there and telling you that they are doing all of the things that you don't want to do, right? It is so much easier to trust an outward entity than it is to trust ourselves nowadays. And it's so sad that we feel the need to trust something else. It's not a work issue. Like, it's not that we're lazy. Like, yes, we can go into the conversation of like, okay, this is the laziest generation. That's a different conversation. We as a society have become lazy, but that's not what the issue is here. It's not that we don't want to put in the work. It's that we want guaranteed results, right? And regardless of how we get there, you want that 30-pound weight loss, right? Like, whoever it is. I'm not saying you specifically, but whoever it is wants that 30-pound weight loss. And that, to them, that just means the number, right? And they want that, period. And they don't care if that means they lose all their muscle and their health is now fucked, right? They are doing it in the name of health. They're saying that they want to get healthy. They're saying that they want to feel better. And that's not the case. It's the case of, for some people, it's the number. For some people, it's the idea that, okay, once I get to this number, then I'll be considered healthy. When I get to this number, that's where my worth comes from. I've heard of that before from people. I asked someone one time, I said, okay, let's say the number stayed the exact same. Right? Let's say this person's number was, let's say the number's 45. Okay? And I was talking to her and I was saying, okay, let's say that she was upset with the number being 45. Let's say that the number 45 stays the same. But you look in the mirror and you love the way you look. When you move and you do things, you feel energized and you feel good. Would you be happy? And she said no, because to her, the number is what mattered. We're living in a society that we're, valuing the number more than the actual health aspect of it. And we also cannot trust ourselves. And it's so discouraging, I think, sometimes to see all these people that are like, oh yeah, I lost the weight with the GLP-1. Right? And now we're being convinced that we cannot do it without the GLP-1. And the people that have been struggling to lose weight their whole lives, they are on the GLP-1 and it worked for them, right? Until it doesn't. Because eventually we want to get off the shot. And 90% of the time, the people are not putting in the work, right? Because we're being told that it's a quick fix. Like, that's the thing. I'm not blaming the people that are doing it either. Like, I get it. We're being marketed this. We're being marketed that it's a quick fix and that it's literally magic and that it's going to make it all go away and your life is going to be all better. When it's not the case. And I'm going to say this over and over. This is not applying to people where the health benefits outweigh the risk. This applies to people where the risk 100% outweigh the benefits. Because the risk is insane. The risk is insane to end up doing the same amount of work that you would do. I think about friends who have talked about this and like friends who have said like, okay, I want to just get on like Ozempic, like it's just easier. Like I've had that thought years ago or whatever, like where it's like, okay, like this is, I think it was what, 2 years ago that it really started to become popular. It's 20, yeah, like end of 2024 maybe. And like, it's like, okay, what would it be like to get on it, right? And it's this idea that you get on the shot and that the weight loss comes so much faster and that it's just done, right? Some people are okay with losing muscle, right? Like, outside of the health benefits, right? Some people are okay with losing muscle. They're like, okay, I literally don't care. I just want to lose weight. Like, I don't care what happens. I don't care how much it fucks up my digestion. I don't care how much it fucks up my hormones. I just want to be skinny. I have heard that before. I have said stuff like that before. Not about Ozempic, but I've said that stuff before about my life whenever I was in such a hard position inside my body that I was like, I do not care what happens to me. I just want to lose weight. I just want to feel better. I understand the frustration on that side of it. With Ozempic, it's dangerous at that point of, I am willing to literally fuck up my hormones and fuck up my digestion in the name of being skinny. Because it's not fat loss always, right? When it's done correctly, it is. When it is done correctly, it is. But it's that these people don't trust themselves to do it. And it is so much easier to blame something else. Taking a second to say, okay, why am I on it? And that's the thing. Like, who am I even talking to right now? I don't know. The goal here is just to educate people on what it is going on. And just to remind you that, like, your body is not broken. And that you do not need to your out is not a GLP-1. It's not. Like, it could be if it's done correctly, but are you willing to put in the work? That's it. Period. For both sides of it. Whether you want to get on Ozempic and get on a shot, or you want to do it naturally. If you want it to last, either way, are you willing to put in the work? That's all I have to say on that. Thanks for listening, and I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all soon.